same class as one that allegedly detonated over Tunguska River in 1908 will pass by Earth next year, flying closer than some man-made satellites, according to NASA. The asteroid, 2012 DA14, will miss the planet by 26,900 kilometers on February 15, 2013, which is closer than satellites in the geostationary orbit of 35,700 kilometers, according to data on NASA's website that was published on Sunday. The asteroid, first detected by the Spanish Observatorio Astronómico de la Sagra, is between 40 and 95 meters in diameter and belongs to Apollo, a group of near-Earth asteroids, many of which are potential collision hazards. Astronomer groups around the world are continuing monitoring 2012 DA14 to determine its size and trajectory. The estimated size of 2012 DA14 places it in the same category as the celestial body that, scientists say, exploded over western Siberia in 1908. Though many theories exist concerning the event on Tunguska River, the leading explanation is a space body more than 50 meters in size blew up in the atmosphere, the blast being at least 1,000 more powerful than the nuclear bomb that destroyed Hiroshima in 1945.
It looks like that. Call it the perfect solar storm. This is Corey Powell here. Experts warn that a massive solar storm is set to erupt right here, and the devastation could total as much as $2 trillion. Corey Powell, editor-at-large, Discover magazine. Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Let's get the first image up, if we could, the one that shows planet Earth relative to the surface of the sun. Because planet Earth is way down here in the bottom left-hand corner,
right,
and the sun is massive. How do we know? Here is right here, right?
Right.
Earth to scale,
there's
that little thing.
that Earth. So,
how come folks like you are so worried about solar flares in 2013?
Well, so we know from watching the sun for hundreds of years, the sun goes through an 11-year cycle, being relatively quiet, very active and violent. 2013 is the peak of that 11-year cycle. So we know, almost like clockwork, every 11 years you go through a bad period, and each 11 years, as we have more technology, we have more satellites, we depend more on our electrical infrastructure, we're more vulnerable.
If we get hit with a solar flare, what does that do to us? What does it do to our technology? What does it do to our civilization?
Right. So what you're looking at here, this is million-degree plasma coming out of the sun. Million degree. Coming out at 300 to 500 miles per second. It travels through space, it hits the Earth, and actually the biggest thing that it does is it's all magnetized. The Earth is kind of a magnet. It wiggles everything, and that makes electrical currents that go crazy everywhere. So it can lead to blackouts, it can overload your satellites, it can fry radio transmissions and GPS transmissions. That's happened on a small scale before.
Talk about the $1 trillion in damage. 1859, apparently Earth was hit by a doozy. But that was long before we had the technology that we do today.
Exactly. So
is that even a possibility if you go back 150 years ago and think that we could be hit again like that with no warning?
We actually know that happens. You can go back and look through, you look through glaciers, and glaciers record different times in the past when these things happened. Actually, the evidence of it gets buried in the ice. So we know this happens every 300, 500 years. So the last one was 150 years ago. It could happen 100 years from now. It could also happen tomorrow. And the one, these flares, believe it or not, that one's actually not so bad. That's one.
That's an okay one.
That's an okay one. That's one that actually didn't cause a whole lot of trouble. The one that happened in 1859 was maybe like 100 times that.
So this is the flare. It comes off the sun right here, and it bursts toward.
Right. So this thing
Mercury.
here. Right. This is 30 times the size of the Earth. This is a small one. The one from 1859. This is, think about, there was very little technology back then. It was so intense that telegraphs around the world were sparking and setting off fires.
Really?
Now imagine you do that with your GPS satellites and your cell phones and all the things that we have today. You could have a global blackout.
So we got that to look forward to. Does this keep you up at night, yes or no?
You know what?